What's up, guys? I decided to just do a real quick pop up show. I won't be up here for more than an hour because I seen a headline that's it's not uncommon because a lot of people overdose, but it was shocking to read DMX's name in the headline. It's very shocking. I grew up listening to him, and at this point in time, he represents millions of other Americans who are struggling with mental illness, and then you add an addiction to that, just a bunch of unkept trauma where people are struggling, and we throw them in jail because that's the only alternative there is at the moment, and there's no real help. It's just a cycle, and it just made me question stuff. I've been questioning a lot of stuff lately. I'm always thinking, just recently after I read the Noah Green story, how did you get here? Like, what happened for you to even want to go shoot something up? How did DMX get here? How did Aaron Long, the kid who shot up all the Asian salons in Atlanta, how did he get there? And how does it go unchecked for so long? We can shell out trillions of dollars for other countries, but we have issues right here at home like this, which is a real pandemic or epidemic.
Mhm.
It's a real thing in America, and a lot of people are suffering from it, but there's no conversation. So I invited you guys here because I know Chelly's a police officer. Me and Kaylee talked and we relate to a lot of things. I'm a person that suffers a bit with anxiety. It's hard. Casey knows about the drug addictions and overdoses in Utah. What are we doing? And after we give our statements, I'm going to play the DMX video where he talks about his mental illness. Go ahead, Casey.
No, it's rough. No pun intended for Rough Riders, but it's interesting because as we were talking backstage, when it comes to DMX, it takes me back to a lot of my high school days and when I first started driving, and his music was hot at the time. It was the biggest thing, and so Rough Riders Anthem was my biggest thing because driving the music video had four-wheelers driving down the street, like doing wheelies and bikes and stuff, and that was all what I was into at the time. And I look at him and I've seen that he's gone in and out of jail and prison multiple times, many times over since I've been following him. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, but not uncommon, especially in the rapper world, because we flex on that. We promote it. But apparently he definitely had an addiction. This last time that he was in, I thought he cleaned up because he did call for God, and he said, and he promoted God when he was in prison. But apparently he came out and must have had a relapse of some sort. And it's unfortunate because I do have a close family member of mine that is addicted to heroin, and it's a struggle, and it's not easy. And I try to be there for him, but also not be an enabler at the same time. That is the important part. And unfortunately, some days like today for DMX, it might happen.
That's the harsh reality of it. Is you want what's best for your family members, because I have family members that struggle with addiction. But at the same time, you gotta like push away that emotional attachment because it's like, I know you need help and we're trying, but the drug it's stronger than some people. A lot of people don't have that strong willpower. It's a strong drug, and if you don't have the mental state to be doing that, and nobody should be doing it because it's a narcotic. It's like a synthetic emotion that you're injecting into yourself, and your brain can't replicate that, so you crave for it. It's unfortunate, and it sucks, man. It sucks having to talk. We're gonna have to talk about him in the past tense because mental health and drug addicts, they're just thrown into jail or left to be homeless. We got 1.9 trillion to give to foreign countries, but we got homeless people right here. hungry people, poverty. Okay. What you got on your mind, Shelly?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I think that when it comes to drug addiction, that stems from many, many things, right? Well, heroin is kind of very unique compared to other drugs. Like heroin, you only need to take heroin one time to be totally addicted to it. Like that's an actual fact. One time is all it takes to get addicted to heroin. And so I just feel like everybody that I've known that has been an addict, and I have family members that are addicts. My own biological father has been a heroin addict since he was a teenager, a late teenager. So I've dealt with it my entire life. And I think that when people are in that mindset, right, because that's their only love, that's the only thing they crave, that's the only thing they want. And you have to kind of try to stop and think about it. Like I could stop and think about it because I'm emotionally attached in a way. So I can think about like who hurt you? You know what I mean? What are you running from? And I think where people who've never dealt with that and can't just understand it, they don't see that there is some sort of trauma there. There is something that they're running from. There is something that they want to hide, something that it's basically, I always say that they're fighting demons that the average person cannot understand. And again, I don't want anyone to think that I'm making an excuse for the behavior, because I do not make an excuse for the behavior. I just think that people need to start listening to things that are going on in our world to understand, and not just to have that like knee-jerk reaction. You know what I mean? But they do suffer from things. Again, not making an excuse for any behavior that they do while they are on drugs. A crime is a crime. I stand behind that wholeheartedly. But again, they are fighting something. And unfortunately, we don't have the mental health easily available to a lot of people. And I will say too, there are some people who will not look for it. Like there are some people who don't want it. They won't look for it. So I understand that too, but we do not have it. And let's be honest, when did mental health really start closing down? Who was our president?
Obama.
And this is not to make it about politics, but I've learned a lot. And you guys know I voted for Obama twice.
Yeah.
But in the last year, I've been researching a lot. And unfortunately, why do they want our citizens running out here with no help available to them? Like, think about it. Mental health is, I think we've always had issues with mental health, right?
Yeah.
But people never addressed it. And that's another problem. Someone mentioned, I think it was Casey mentioned about enabling.
Yeah.
And families, especially minority families, I can tell you from my own family, we are enablers.
Yes,
ourselves.
we are.
Because we want to nurture, we want to care, we want to help them. But again, you cannot help somebody who does not want help.
Yeah.
And as far as facilities, those people, there's not enough available. And especially even worse now, since the Obama era.
Yeah.
How many facilities got shut down and why do we think that mental health is on the forefront so much right now? Because guess what? These people had no help.
Yeah.
So they had no meds. They had no clinics to turn to. You know what I mean? What is it to call a 1-800 number? Like, oh, let me call suicide prevention. That's going to talk me off the deep end, or whatever you're going through. You know what I mean? Like we have to remember there's cause and effect in everything. And
Facts.
shutting down those clinics and all these things, we are seeing the effects of it now. And mental health is a serious issue right now.
Facts. Go ahead, Kaylee.
Well, I can say from personal experience that it was much easier to find counseling or mental health care before the Obama administration, not to bring politics into it, but I like physically saw it myself. I was in counseling through those 4 years, and like by the end of it, there was nobody that could take me, nobody that could like, everything got shut down. I was living in Kansas at the time, and my the availability for anything for me, and I had good insurance, and so I can't imagine somebody who doesn't have insurance. You know, they don't have $5,000 in cash to shell out to say, hey, you know, I need to come talk to somebody. I need to get care. I mean, why is this not a priority? Like, I feel like it used to be a priority, and we were making positive steps where, you know, people need to be able to understand that this is, you know, it's not just you. I would say a very high percentage of Americans deal with anxiety, depression commonly. That's a common thing. Why is it not easily accessible for people to get help? It's almost like they don't want us to have help. It's sickening to me that, like Suni said, we can fund so much in other countries, but we're not taking care of our own people. I mean, this stuff doesn't just happen. Somebody doesn't just get born and then by the time they're 10, they're like, I'm going to go shoot something up. It doesn't work like that. Stuff happens to them that gets them to the point where they're like, I either need to stop feeling the pain, so I'm going to do something, or something else. It's just like Chelly said, it's cause and effect every time. It doesn't just happen. People aren't just born like, I'm just going to go kill people. I mean, I guess there's some people, but for the majority of people that are addicted to drugs or do crazy things like this, something has happened to them. There's a history there.
It's rough because you look at veterans. You know, I have an uncle who's a veteran. He's a Desert Storm veteran. He fought in the Gulf War. And I remember who my uncle was before, and I look at him now, and he's not the same. You know, he suffers with alcoholism. And I don't even see the vet giving help. And like when you go to the VA, they don't get help there. They get a Band-Aid. You get a prescribed pill. And that's not what's wrong with people. A lot of people are beyond the pale. Like there's nothing you can do to help them because they're set in their ways. But some people, they just need to fucking talk and have somebody hear what they say. Like me and Chelly are so close is because I just like broke down and cried to her. And I'm like, you make me feel normal. I don't feel crazy. I don't feel like nutty, like, dang, I'm the only person that's thinking this. No, there's so many other people that feel this way. Sometimes you just have to listen to somebody talk. Just listen to them talk and be like, it's okay. You know, I'm not going to be that friend that's going to call to you like, oh, come here.
I'm still going to be the person to call you crazy, though.
Yeah, but everybody else is crazy with me. I'm pretty normal.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Like a lot of people are suffering with anxiety and they don't even know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They just go through life, probably frustrated, angry, mad at the world, don't know why they're mad because they don't want to accept things about themselves. I had to accept that. I'm like, you know what? You had a lot of traumatic stuff happen. How you deal with it going forward, it's okay. Just manage it. And I manage it. Shows like these are therapeutic. There's somebody who looks at me as a big sister, you know, and she watches the show. And it feels good to see her name pop up there because I know if you need to hear something or maybe if you need to talk, I know you know my inbox is open. You can reach out to me. How many people have that? How many people can call up a hotline, you know, for young Black men when they feel like they want to go kill somebody? Because you stepped on my turf and they don't understand, bro, you don't even own that turf. It's not yours.
Yeah.
You're dying over something that's not even yours. It's unfortunate and it's sad. And too many people suffer these fates in America. And it transcends race because everybody is dealing with something. And that lets you know that it's a freaking problem.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll do something soon. I'm going to hold out hope that our government isn't as screwed up as they seem. And there's still some good people there.
And I think that also, like, we should mention too, that a lot of times parents, you
Facts.
see something, because there are a certain percentage of mental illness that they're not addicted to drugs. There are even kids that they're totally fine, like their parents see them totally fine. And then when they hit like their early 20s, one day they just change. Something in them changed. Something happened. I've had several incidents with people like that. So I want to say, like, there are things that when those things happen, parents, again, I've said it a million times, we need to be accountable. We need to recognize these signs in our children. We need to get them the help. I think that a lot of parents don't want to be the bad guy. A lot of parents don't want their kids, they feel like their children are going to hate them. And we have to get over that. We have to recognize it when it happens. Even if you have the slightest hint, talk to someone. Talk to a pediatrician. Talk to someone about what you're seeing, because only you, if you're with your child all the time, you know what your child's experiencing. You know when your child changes. You know when something's different. You know that there's something going on. And I cannot stress enough, parents, don't let them deal with trauma their whole life, and you're missing all the signs, and they get to the point where they have to revert to drugs or something else to escape from that reality. We need to start being accountable.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts, man.
It's tough. Like, and then you put COVID on top of it, right? So you put COVID in the mix, force everybody at home, get rid of socialization. So you're not able to socialize. You're not able to meet with friends. You're not able to do your normal stuff. And you have the easy out. Like, we're not even going to go to the extreme with drugs. You have alcohol sitting on the counter. It's easy. And so it becomes easy just to resort to that. And it gets tough. These are things that we all battle with and we all fight with. Some people struggle with it more than others. And this is where I look at the system, like when I say the government, and you put us all in our home. This is one of my biggest things that I was advocating at the beginning of COVID is, I don't think you know what you're doing. You just canceled all AA meetings. You canceled anybody's recovery options. You are forcing people to relapse. And you are forcing people to actually create an addiction at the same time. It's not healthy.
Not only that, but then we're giving them money to fund it.
Right.
Yeah. What are our representatives doing?
They all need to go. I've been saying that for how long? They all need to go.
And a lot of people that suffer from like anxiety or depression, a lot of them, it gets worse during the winter.
Yeah, because of less sunlight.
It's a fact. So imagine now the winter, it's like called seasonal anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
So imagine this past winter now you've been locked down since March. And now we're going into this dark winter. And now you're adding all not socializing, being locked in, losing your job, whatever else. Like, I cannot even imagine the stress of people who suffered from it, who just went from maybe they're at a 3, they probably went to 100 like this.
It's sad, but I'm going to play this because he openly says, like, look, I'm dealing with something. And I think this is when family, whoever else was close to him, his wife, somebody should have heard this. And if he rejected help, then cool. He rejected it. But it's just sad because a lot of other people suffer this fate, and they don't have the attention that DMX will get.
Yes, there's a few people in me that get me through life.
What would you want anyone to know about those people that help you?
I wouldn't want anyone to know anything about those people. I don't talk about. You already got me talking about. Nope.
But in another segment, X's ex-wife, Tashira Simmons, suggested Earl is a child who was there before his father left and his mother didn't know how to handle him. Consequently, Simmons said the more aggressive persona of X was created to protect Earl to take on all the trauma of his childhood, called him the angry one. Meanwhile, DMX is the entertainer who looks out for Earl, but he's so much nicer. In the next segment, X started to tear up, saying, "They're there to get me through life. I don't know if I made them or if God gave them to me, or maybe circumstances and situations did." X has broached the topic before. In a 2011 interview with ABC 15 Arizona, X admitted he struggled with bipolar disorder, but only mentioned 2 personalities. "I used to be really clear on who was what and what characteristics each personality had," he said at the time, "but I don't know at this point. I'm not even sure there's a difference. I'm Earl when I'm with my children. I miss my children. I miss my children. I miss my children." He said he was trying to separate his 2 identities and put his struggles with substance abuse behind him. "I'm not the person the media portrays me to be," he said at the time. "X is the bad guy. That's not who I am. I'm not the person the media portrays me to be. Every day I start my day off with a prayer, ask God to guide my steps, cover me and keep me safe. Every album there's a gospel song and a prayer, every album from the beginning." Elsewhere in the clip, the episode takes a look at the 1999 Hard Knock Life tour with Jay-Z and the emotional roller coaster it was for X. But what do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
I thought this was cool because you listen to what's like what entertainment is doing and they're exploiting it. Like he's on there like, "Yo, I'm suffering. I got different personalities," and then she's just like poking and prodding for more. "So what is this?" No, at this point, you need help. It's called an alter ego for a reason. Beyonce, like a lot of people openly have and say they have multiple personalities, and it's just brushed off like, "Oh, this is just your alter ego. This is somebody you put on." No. It's not normal to refer to yourself as someone else and you can't differentiate. Or
No,
you're
it's
using
frightening.
one personality to protect another personality when you're like, come on.
That's very sad, because I mean they shouldn't be. That should have been his ticket in to help. I mean, and like you said, maybe they offered it, I don't know, but
Mhm.
just from looking at that, they're just exploiting his issues. That's sick. I mean, straight up, it's sick.
As a result of them politicizing, televising, romanticizing, all this stuff, this is a result of that. I found this clip and I was emotionally disturbed watching at what this is our youth. Okay. So they came from my generation of parents. This is what you raised because you ignore all the signs and you give your kid a pill or you appease them in their wrong so that they don't act out because there is no help for them and you don't know how to handle them as a parent. This is what happens.
I get it. I don't like the two-party system. I think our country's corrupt. And quite frankly, I don't want to vote for Biden. It feels like voting for a Republican. But I'm gonna do it. You want to know why?
Why?
Because the alternative is a fascist. A fascist is a fascist. Maybe we can have the conversation about dismantling the two-party system when a fascist isn't running.
Watch this next girl.
Maybe we can do that later, kiddo.
This is not even funny. Watch this next girl.
Maybe we can talk about it later. I can feel pain before I was born. It's a baby. I was born and I can feel pain. I wish I wasn't born. You're stupid. And I wish I had been aborted.
I have not felt this amount of sinking despair since November of 2016.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
I won't play anymore, but this is what our country's turning into. This is mental health
else.
Unchecked. Go ahead.
Why is it that so many parents, I'm not saying this to any of you because I don't believe this is the case, but there are so many parents that are so dang concerned about being their kids' friend.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, They got friends at school. They got cousins. They got aunts and uncles. That's their job. Your job is to be responsible for your children and to be their parent.
Yep.
They rely on you, especially when they're young. It is not our job to make sure that everything's great and they never get in trouble and we just make excuses for their behavior. That's not our job. Not if we're going to do it right, or we're going to be raising a bunch of these people that we just saw right now. That's the problem. They don't have any discipline. They never get told that they're wrong or that they're doing anything wrong. They just handle them with kid gloves. And then they raise that. It's disgraceful.
I ain't gonna lie. When that girl screamed at the camera with the Bernie shirt, when I first seen it, I bust out laughing and I stopped. I said, first of all, her head is shaved. Okay, which she's a girl, she's a woman. Women do that when they're going through something. Women do not just shave their hair. No, they don't. She went through something. She's shaving her hair. She got a Bernie shirt on, and you made a video screaming into a camera and posted it on social media.
And
like,
women,
why is that normal?
Well, women wonder why they're single, and that's one of the reasons.
Oh,
Seriously.
Hey, none of us are single, okay? Somebody done scooped us up because we're not crazy.
When you do stuff like that, like, what do you expect?
Hey, I just want to say, I have to be 100. In 2015, I cried like that too, but I didn't make a video. I'm just bringing myself to the red table. I'm guilty.
You did it privately.
I love
like
your
that.
honesty, honey. I love your honesty.
I cried and I didn't talk to my husband for 3 weeks. And now I have regrets.
Now you have regrets. So the person that was screaming and getting super upset just when Donald Trump was announced being president, I have a firsthand experience with someone that did something like that day after he was elected in 2016. Literally, I came across someone and this person was completely just out of their mind the next day at the office and just went nuts. And we're like,
serious?
Yeah. Just went nuts. Like we're talking, yelled every bad word that people called Trump. He's a bigot. He's a racist. He's this and this. And I'm like, dude, you need to take a day off.
Wait, it was a dude?
But,
wait, you said dude. It was a dude?
Yeah.
Oh man, people stress
That's
me
why
out.
all them men be single out there. They're gonna stay like that. They keep acting like that.
Because no woman wants them.
Well, they'll be together, so maybe they'll meet each other one day.
They'll match together, crazy and crazy.
What should we call it? We have farmers only. Should we call it?
I don't even know.
Crazy liberals only, or like leftists only? What's the name of it?
I don't know, because I am not having anything to do with that.
Well, I think we got Tinder for that. You know, crazies meeting up with crazies. We don't need another one.
Well, she said we got Tinder for that.
Look, I hadn't heard some horror stories about Tinder where you meet some very interesting characters off of there. So it's not a place for. I'm not even gonna mince my words. It ain't a place for normal folks. Okay, normal people go out and talk to normal people in person and formulate relationships so that they know who they're talking to, because you can't get that through text messages and over phone. Sorry, I'm old school.
Same. I'm old school.
Come old.
I'm old.
We need to bring back old school.
We do.
Like the youth, they have no idea how important like physically social interaction. I'm like not talking about touching. I'm talking about being face to face with somebody, not through a screen. How important that is for you. Like
don't understand
going out and yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They have no idea what chivalry means.
And it gets funny because that's kind of my personality is being around people, not necessarily like, hey, we're on the phone. Like
Mhm.
cool. And
Right. Just chilling.
I've always been like, hey, where are we going? Let's go do
Yeah.
something. And just let's get out. We're not gonna just sit on the phone.
Facts,
Exactly.
man.
And they don't
We're
even do
screwed,
that.
bro.
Now it's texting. Like they don't have phone conversations.
We're so screwed.
Oh geez.
The next 4 years.
4?
Or-
We only have a year and a half.
Look,
out.
these 3.5 years are about to be real. Do you hear me? It's going to get real.
Real rough.
We already have insanity being plastered everywhere. When you tell people they can change their gender, that is insanity. That's not normal. It's insane.
Well, my 5-year-old can choose his gender. He just
That's
can't
insanity.
choose what clothes he
Look.
wants to wear each day.
I guarantee
Yeah.
you, murders, sexual assaults, we're going to have a whole lot of that. And I'm glad I'm not in the U.S. to experience it. I won't even lie. That's the scary reality.
But how
I
long
have
before
2
it's in
daughters.
Japan?
Look, they won't even let me bring CBD here. They was ready to arrest me for being a drug smuggler.
Dang, Sony.
Straight up, they pulled me into the security forces and they were like, do you know what you're ordering? And I was like, yeah, it's CBD. And they're like, no, ma'am, we tested this and this is straight up THC. And I was like, I'll tell. I will sing like a canary. And you could best believe I handed all my stuff in. Japan is something different. It's different. I can't explain it. It's nothing like America. You don't see trans people walking around. You don't even really see homeless people, around. If they're homeless, they're organized. They got a cart. They have a set of boxes that they use at wherever they stop at, and it's usually hidden away from the public. Like they're not just out there chilling, slouching. There's not pollution and trash everywhere. It's different here. So I can't see something like that. I can't see that coming here. I just can't.
I just, as you and I have talked personally, I love the culture of Japan. I
Yeah,
do.
it's amazing here. I was telling Kaylee about it.
It's fantastic.
It's amazing.
And it reminds me of early era, like before my day, of really remembering America. But we were very similar in that way.
I can agree.
We were a very strong Christian nation, and we all cared and actually were united. That is what Japan is.
Yeah.
America is so divided today.
You said
even
we're all
close.
coming to stay with you.
Deal.
They won't even let me out, girl. I don't think they'll let anybody in. How long do you have before you're back in the States? 3.5 years. And then I'll be back. But my children will be either homeschooled or a private Christian school. They will not be attending public school. And we will probably not live anywhere near a city. I will be way out in the sticks somewhere.
Come to Utah. Come stay out here.
I told you I flew through Utah and I was like, this is not bad. I like the whole scenery. I liked it.
One of the few people I'll accept in Utah. Everybody else in California can go to Texas. Like,
Damn, you're gonna send them over to Texas.
they can deal with Russo.
Oh God. Tell them Casey sent you. Okay. And then pull up on Russo. Look up Anthony Russo. He's got you. All the liberals going there.
Facts.
He's gonna be mad. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, hell no, don't send them to Texas. No, thank you. Hell to the no.
I don't. You know
Keep
what?
that
I
in
don't like the
California.
cold. I don't like the cold, but that's the beauty of having multiple properties. So if it's cold there, I'm going to where it's hot, and then I'll go back.
It's called a snowbird. You just go down to Arizona, like a lot of people do in Utah. They literally go down
Facts.
to Arizona.
Arizona's hot as it's hot.
Yeah, but they're only in there. They're only down there in the winter when it's only like 70, 80.
Only. Okay, maybe 70, 80 here is like opening your oven and having the steam smack you in the face.
Well, you
It's-
got humidity. You're talking about a
It's
desert.
hot.
You come to Utah and Arizona. It's a desert.
Yo,
So
you
don't have-
need sunglasses when the sun is not out. It's so bright here.
Mhm.
I'm always like, damn, I can't see. It's so freaking bright. Did you guys see the new Newsweek article that came out about Noah Green? You see it?
Not that specific one. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Well, this ties into mental illness. They're trying to. I wholeheartedly believe they are painting him this way because he's a black male. Because if this was a white guy suffering with mental illness, they would have called him a white supremacist.
Yep. And an insurrectionist and a Trump supporter. All of the above.
True.
Following reports, authorities identified as a suspect who was shot dead. Okay, he was not just shot dead. That's come on now. After ramming his car into a barricade. So they don't even say what he actually did. They just said he was shot dead by authorities after ramming his car into a barricade. They don't say that he went after a police officer with a knife and he
Well, they didn't
injured
say
the
he
other
ran-
one.
They didn't say he ran over two police officers either.
Okay. So if the two officers are down, does that mean he was shot by someone else that was on the scene as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Other
Okay.
police officers.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of conversation around was he going after police officers with his knife? Because he got out of the car with a knife.
Mhm.
Correct.
But he was very distant from them, and they were trying to criticize that at the beginning.
Mm.
But it's like, no, you just broke a barricade
And you ran somebody over.
and you ran two officers over, and you get out with a knife. No, you deserve to be shot. Sorry.
And not only that, but what people don't understand is that, okay, you just killed police officer. The reason they can use lethal force is for
Mhm.
the sanctity of life.
Yeah, and he just took one.
He just proved he didn't give a shit about two lives, and
Facts.
now has a knife and is lunging, literally seen on video, lunging towards the other officers.
Mm.
Like people, and even if you just had a knife, like I like when people say, "Oh, you could have shot him in the leg, you could have shot him in the toe." You know how quick it is to close that gap?
Yeah.
Like how quick things happen. I really wish everybody who had said that, they do like simulations with them. Like you should take this simulation. And
I
see
think
what
everybody
you
should do a ride along.
I do. I agree.
Everybody.
People don't put themselves in somebody else's shoes at
Mhm.
all, especially when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it's not, you're thinking that sitting in your living room chair,
Right.
like, oh, well, I would have just shot him in the leg. You don't know what you would have done. Somebody was
Right.
coming at you with a knife. You have no idea what you would have done. You did not put yourself in that position or in that frame of mind because your adrenaline's going number one. So that's going
Facts,
to change everything for you. You're going to be shaky. You're going to be hype. You're in a red situation, and you just do what you have to do at the time.
And
So-
shooting them in the leg does not take out their delivery system. Like people
Exactly.
don't
Right.
understand it. I'm like, if you don't know what you're talking about, if you've never been trained, if you've never educated yourself on it, shooting them in the leg, does that remove the gun out of their hand? Does that
No.
remove the knife out of their hand?
Because they could
Sure
still
doesn't.
be running on adrenaline and
Correct.
come after you.
So you're taught to shoot center mass
mass.
to remove the delivery system, which is your hands.
Right.
Mhm.
Like people just don't get it. They
People-
really don't.
You can get shot in the leg and still walk, people.
Correct. But you
Yeah.
could crawl, you could bear crawl, you could still pick up a gun.
Right. I was just about to say that. They could still shoot you even if you shot them in the leg.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they could be going down shooting.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Mhm.
Well,
You-
apparently, the suspicions I had, he suffered from paranoia. So you suffer from paranoia. And I did a show on this yesterday. And then you add in the teachings of the Nation of Islam, which is white people hate you. Cops are after you. All these narratives that are being pushed, and you push it to the wrong person. And these are the effects from that. So Noah Green happened because of all those things. It has nothing. I'm not even, it's his responsibility. 100%. He's wrong. But we also need to pay attention to, how did he get here? Why is the Nation of Islam not held in the same regard as the KKK? They don't like white people.
No, they were having, during the riots, they were having this, there was this woman on the curb, and they were having her kiss at their boots.
Wow.
I was like, what in the actual fuck is happening right now?
And
Kissing boots?
Kiss it. No, there's video. There's video of it. Let me see if I can find it. Oh.
Yeah, I was in Russo's comments today, going back and forth with a few people, and I actually got a better understanding of Nation of Islam, and I'm like, so because I called this guy a Muslim, that's what I called him, and they corrected me, and I started looking into Nation of Islam, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is even worse. Yeah. He hates everybody but black people. Like,
yes,
okay, fine. Oh, and by the way, the police officer that died is white. Is there any? Would he have any regard to care for that police officer? No. He might have even targeted him sitting in the car because he didn't care. This is an act of terror, and we got to start calling it like it is. Like, this is an act of terror and needs to be handled accordingly. Now the guy's gone. Thank God he's no longer using our tax dollars, and he's gone. Now, I would be very upset if he's just going to sit in jail for 40 years.
Facts.
No, he doesn't need to be in jail. He needs to be removed from the planet because he has no regard for any other human life. He just doesn't. He doesn't care.
I'm going to let Kaylee. Kaylee's got to hop off. So I'm going to let Kaylee give her closing statements on how she feels about this whole thing.
Is that a good closing statement?
That lets us all know, man.
I don't know. I guess I feel like if we want things to be different, we have to start right now, especially parents with their children. It is extremely important that you guys are active in your child's life, that they experience what America really is and should be, so that by the time they're our age, that's what they want to get back to. Talk to them about the Constitution. Talk to them about what freedoms they have. Talk to them about those things that they're not learning in school, because they're not going to teach them that stuff. They're indoctrinating them with what they want them to think. And stop making mental health care so difficult to have. That should be the easiest thing for somebody to find. Period. Stop giving money to other countries and make sure that our people are taken care of on every front. We got homeless veterans that are battling mental stuff. You know, we're acting like the police are horrible people, and they're not. They're sacrificing and risking their lives every day to make sure that we have peace. The narrative is disgusting. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Got to go be a mom now.
Bye-bye. We'll see you later.
Bye.
See ya.
Kaylee's dope.
Kaylee's awesome.
And it was nice to hear her. It's nice to have people to relate to. Like, we were talking off camera, and she was like, man, I would guess a good 60% of Americans are dealing with something. And a lot, probably even more, because most won't acknowledge it or say it because it's embarrassing, which is not. It's embarrassing to act like there's nothing wrong with you when there clearly is. That's embarrassing for me.
Well, I think a lot of times people in society in the past, they've made it so taboo for people to talk about mental illness. You were shunned, you were looked down upon. You know, like, I don't know about you guys, but for myself, like back in the day, if kids had special needs and stuff and they were on the like yellow bus, people would make fun of them.
Facts.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like an ongoing thing. So with mental illness, you know, parents, especially back then, they like, oh no, not my kid. Like, my kid has to be perfect. Instead of trying to deal with it and trying to figure out what was happening, it's been taboo. Kind of the same, like even with like police officers and the suicide rate. People think that police officers are supposed to be like, I don't know if they're superheroes or what they're supposed to be, but they're normal people. They just wear a damn uniform. But they deal with a lot of issues. They deal with divorce. They deal with, you know, all kind of things. And unfortunately for police officers, if you say you have a problem, there's always been that stigma attached to it. Then you can't do your job. Your gun gets taken away. It's not okay to say you're not okay. So it's in all aspects of life. It's always been kind of frowned upon or made fun of, and we look at where we're at. I mean, that mixed with all the things we said earlier.
It does. It's unfortunate. And look, we have another black man dead. I'm gonna play the video that Shelly gave me. The black supremacists film white people kissing their feet. Lord, imagine the frenzy we would have if white people were making black people kiss their shoes. But it's okay to do that.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Couple 100 million people. I don't care if everybody in the world forgot all the dead black Hispanic nation. I don't care about it. Everybody in the world says, get over it. It's an attack. I ain't getting over it. Right. I'm gonna keep crying about it. Right.
Ew. Where I'm from, you call those people race hustlers and opportunists. And if you are goofy enough to go kiss their feet, then I guess you just goofy. Common sense would tell you not to be kissing nobody's feet because you're not responsible for slavery. And I'm not affected by slavery. That's another I'm going to be doing a show with Bevelyn Beatty. I'm going to talk to her about the state of culture. And then we're going to get into a series where we talk about escaping the hive, because the black community is like a freaking beehive. When one bee doesn't behave like the others, all the bees come and attack and try to kill the one that leaves. I'm tired of talking about the plantation. So we're just going to call it Escaping the Beehive. This is insane.
Are you really going to do a show with her?
Yeah, I'm having her on Make America Think Again.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to talk.
It's disgusting, and it kind of shows what's going on in society today, though. If we look at it,
ain't it?
People don't have any self-respect, and that's what I see there. Is you think you are lesser than those that you are kissing or licking their feet or shoes, and it's acceptable. No, it's not. You need to have more respect for yourself.
Woo!
I think those people kissing their feet got mental illness.
Yes, I do too.
Because you gotta be a dumbass to kiss somebody's feet. I don't care who you are. Like I'm not kissing anybody's feet, and I don't bow to anyone but God Himself. So I'm like, I don't know what they were high on.
Drugs. Gotta be. Or they just really feel the guilt of it. Like, I don't understand how, but to each their own. You want to kiss feet, go ahead and kiss feet, man.
For real. That's what I say. Go ahead. You want to kiss somebody's feet?
Go ahead. Just be prepared for what you create, because you're going to create a whole population of black people that feel like you ain't worth you know what, and they're going to treat you like that too.
Yep.
Just a whole bunch of more Lil Nas X's.
Facts.
That's exactly what's being created right now.
Speaking of him, did you guys see a picture of him like hugged up with Joe Osteen?
Yep. Joe Osteen is a hijacker.
Oh yeah, well look at his house. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Hey, you know what? I'm like, from now on, honestly, I'm like, you just gotta call it like you see it. You can't cater to people anymore because you know where catering has got us as a society.
Exactly. This is what we're gonna close with. I seen this video. Okay, this is probably about 6 months ago. After I did the Noah Green show, and I was telling people everything that contributed to him doing what he did. Okay, that there are reasons why he did what he did. He didn't just do it one day because he woke up and felt like he wanted to do that. So I wrote down questions. And then I always get my question answered immediately without even trying sometimes. I just stumble across something and I'm like, this is why. So you wonder why some Black people are so dead set on we are being targeted. This is happening is because these celebrities push propaganda to the public. Oh, my favorite rapper saying it. Oh, Mary J. Blige is saying it. Well, she's Black and rich, so it's got to be true. Everybody doesn't have the common sense that I have. And this video kind of pissed me off.
Damn, now I'm gonna be pissed. Mary J's my girl. Love it.
Pissed me off, man. I was disgusted to see her on this video. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna play it. And you know what? I'm not even shocked with T.I. because he is smart stupid.
Yeah.
He's like Kevin Gates. He say a bunch of stuff that make you think he's smart, but he ain't said nothing.
No.
I'm gonna need a voodoo drink for this.
T.I. puts on a big front. And
expeditiously, he needs to be canceled.
Right. If you look at all of his arrests, they're always around drugs, and he always claims he's clean. He always blames other people.
Mm-hmm.
But he's caught with them. It's not like, oh, he has someone in his car. He is literally caught with them. Like, dude.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna play this. And we'll give our closing statements after this, but enjoy.
In 2016, we created 23 ways you could be killed by being Black in America. Failing to signal a lane change. Riding in your girlfriend's car with a child in the back.
Running to the bathroom in your own apartment.
Selling cigarettes outside of a corner store. I can't believe I'm back 4 years later with 17 more ways you can be killed.
Leaving a party.
17.
Jordan Edwards.
Sleeping in your home. Dominique Clayton.
Sitting in a wheelchair. Jeremy McDowell.
Riding your bike. Ronell Foster.
Suffering from a mental illness. Walter Wallace Jr.
Failing to dim your lights. Javier Amber.
Walking down the street. Elijah McClain.
At home relaxing. Botham John.
At your window. Tatiana Jefferson.
Standing in our grandmother's backyard. Stephon Clark.
Jogging. Ahmaud Aubrey. Sleeping in your car. Rayshard Brooks.
Standing by your car. Terrence Crutcher.
Driving your car. Kane Rogers.
Suffering from mental illness. Daniel Prude.
Accused of using a fake 20. George Floyd.
Sleeping in your bed. Breonna Taylor.
Breathe with me.
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 Breathe with me. Breathe with me.
Breathe with me.
Breathe with me.
Breathe with me.
Breathe with me.
Okay. Breonna Taylor did not die sleeping in her bed. This is why I said this is propaganda. Okay.
And George
This
Floyd
is
had
what
a fake
the
20.
He did have a fake 20, but that's not what happened to him. He contributed to his own death as well as that jackass police officer that was on his neck. Call a spade a spade. He was high off every drug imaginable. This is what we are fighting against when it comes to the youth. I don't even care about you adults anymore.
Like,
why are you spilling? Why do we speak death to our community? It's never anything but death and despair. Nothing. There's no life there. Why? And why do asshole celebrities get on these platforms and lie? T.I., you was never targeted because you were black, bro. You were targeted because you were doing illegal stuff. And you didn't even serve the max sentence that anybody else black would have served.
No. He gets out like John Sullivan.
Come on,
like,
bro.
he's just out instantly. It's ridiculous.
Do you understand why I'm so passionate? As much as I know the black community is going to stab me in the back, bro. I know they don't like me. I know what I talk about doesn't represent what they feel as a community, but this is why I won't give up. My sister is why I won't give up. My kids, my little cousins, because they watch stupid shit like that. So you got these fake ass celebrities spitting bullshit because that's not the reality for us.
No, like, and they're like Rayshard Brooks sleeping in his car.
Lies.
No. He took a taser from an officer and ran, and he fired the taser, but he missed because he sucks. But yeah, so what do you expect? You took a weapon from an officer. Do you
And
expect
punched an
someone?
officer.
Yeah. Well, and
Knocked him
honestly,
out cold.
those officers needed more training. But outside of that, for that to happen, they took the lethal force that was necessary because he took a weapon from an officer.
I know it's money, all right, but I'm so humble and so real and authentic that I could never. I don't care how much you offer me. I'm not going to spill lies to the public. I don't care what you offer me, bro. I could just be doing this for the rest of my life and never be on a national platform. I don't care because I'm not selling out for a fucking check. Never. You're a poor excuse for a human being. Everybody in that video, as far as I'm concerned, and if that's me judging, then so well be it, bro, because y'all are pieces of shit. That's disgusting. And you know that's going to go to the youth and adults that aren't aware.
Yep. 100%.
Go ahead, Shelly. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Casey.
My big thing is I see some comments in here about celebrities, and it's the same with athletes with me. Celebrities and athletes, all these big people.
Yeah.
They claim they're using their platform, right? But they're using their platform without actually understanding the circumstance. Like, everybody's like, LeBron James is all this Black Lives Matter support. Hey guys, did LeBron James put Black Lives Matter or change his name on his jersey like the other athletes did?
No.
Reality check, no. He's all show. Most of these people and celebrities are all show. They're following so they can stay relevant. That is exactly what they're doing.
Yep, I agree. And for me, I think the thing that bothers me the most about like those videos, and whenever we talk about topics that we talk about, is the hypocrisy behind it all. Hey, look, if someone gets killed, we're not going to sit here and say that nobody has ever got killed unjustified, right? We're not going to say that. But at the same time, I am never going to put my platform, if I was a movie star or whatever these people are, if I had that type of platform, I'm never going to, I'm never going to compromise my moral compass for popularity, because these people do have platforms and they do reach children and parents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, the hypocrisy is real. Like, has any of those people, the same way that the three of us can say, we know for a fact that there has been people that have been killed unjustified, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can say that. We can own that.
For sure.
But can they say the same? Can they say the same? Can they say some of these people were killed and guess what? You pull out a gun or a knife to the police, they're going to kill your ass.
That's what happens. They want to go home.
For me, the hypocrisy behind it all is the thing that like really gets to me. I just want equality. I truly want equality for all of us. I don't care if we ever talk about race again, but I want equality. The same things you want is the same things we want.
Facts.
We could call
That's literally what it is.
Correct. We could call a spade a spade. Why can't they? We should, you know, we should do a video. We should do a collab, and we should do a video with every little part that they talk about, and talk about the real story.
Yeah, we should.
That'll be dope.
We can use their video, and when they say a name, we could say what actually happened.
Correct.
Come on, like, this is why it goes so hard. It's for the youth, because I know how impressionable I was, man. It's for my kids. I won't be one of those ones that's silent. This is like, well, whatever happens, happens. Yeah. Not if I could try to put a dent in it. I know I can't save it completely.
But you can put a dent. Your voice matters, period.
Facts, man. It's crazy.
Like, you reach a lot of people. And it does. I mean, there are some people that will like, hey, I'm interested, etc. And there's some people that are just not gonna learn. Like,
facts.
I think you caught a little part of my video today.
I did.
I posted like a gas price in Chicago. So in the last 2 months, our gas price has gone over $2 a gallon. $2 higher than it was a gallon. So I was talking basically about how when we're dependent with this administration, as opposed to being independent under the Trump administration and cause and effect, that's basically, I never talked about red or blue or any of that. I was basically saying, does everybody remember the price of gas under Obama? And people were trading in their V8s, people were trading in their trucks because you could not afford to fill them. So I was like, do we see the same pattern? So I had somebody who I've not seen in 31 years, because we went to high school together, come in my comments and talk about sore losers and just like a bunch of little silly shit. And then I don't have a problem with people giving a difference of opinion, but I do have a problem when people come into my comments and curse and start using curse words because you think that's going to make you sound relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to be the bigger person. I went back and I said, hey, look, this is my post, and I post what I want, when I want, in whatever manner I deem appropriate. If you don't like it, you have the option to continue to scroll. You can delete me, but what you're not going to do is come in here cursing and disrespecting me. Like, we're not going to do that. We can agree to disagree, but you're not going to disrespect me.
Facts.
And then I even said, like, and then she said something about losers. I was like, and there are no sore losers here, but I will call somebody out on their BS, period. So she put like this clap back, and she's like, oh, well, you could kiss my ass, but then block me immediately. So I couldn't respond back. And then in her comment, she also said her first original comment was, I was born a Democrat. I'm going to die a Democrat, good or bad. It's there. Go look at it. I'm not, and that is the mentality. That is the mentality that people deal with. You don't want to see. You don't want to see.
So they don't realize that we all lose.
No,
If the
they
president
don't.
loses, we all lose.
They don't care, because it's like I told you, like, and this woman, she's a Hispanic woman. A lot of problems with minority people, my people, is that we are in this mindset. Literally, I can tell you, I had an aunt who told me the exact same thing, that I was born a Democrat, I'm a Democrat. We are stuck in a mentality. I'm telling you, a lot of minority people have this. I'm not exaggerating. They're stuck in that mentality. They're so brainwashed, and they don't even think to, like, hey, just research what I said. And they only listen to respond and have those clapbacks, those knee-jerk reactions. They don't actually investigate or read into anything. I was guilty of that myself.
Facts.
Like, I know, which is why I'm so passionate now about getting out the information or reaching people, because I was that fool. I was blind. Like, I'm going to own it 100%. I was that dummy.
Folks are crazy. Welcome to 2021. I'm excited. Like, all this makes me excited. How about you, Casey? I'm never going to run out of stuff to talk about. I'm never going to have a bored day.
Yes. So I'm excited because I like that we're not going to be bored. That's what I was worried about with a transition outside of Trump is what would we talk about? But now we have mumbling Joe Biden and we have the rest of the stuff going on in the world. I do fear what is going to happen this summer is exactly what happened last summer. We're already setting the stage for it.
It's coming.
Yeah, I feel you. I see where you're going. Yep.
I don't like it, but it's nice that we actually have this community and all these people and all of our friends and follow us, and we can communicate and educate and keep spreading that. That's the one thing that I do like about it. Like last summer, I was just like, because I was all by myself. I'm sitting there like, these people don't get it.
They don't. And people continue to pander and to cater to all the silliness. We had a 13-year-old killed by a Chicago police officer a couple days ago. 13.
Wow.
13.
Wow.
Outside at 2 a.m. with a 21-year-old male with a gun.
Wow. So he didn't even have a gun.
He did have a gun.
The 13-year-old had.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pointed at the police.
Whoa.
But
That's
all you hear
alarming.
is this is the problem with the media. All you hear is 13-year-old shot and killed by the police. And then normal people, right? Normal average people think, what can a 13-year-old have possibly done?
Yeah.
Well, if you're not out there living in the real world, guess what? They're getting pregnant, they're having sex, they're doing drugs, they're selling drugs, they're shooting people.
I can tell you right now, when I was 13 years old, I was able to handle a gun very, very well. So, yeah, like you got to treat everybody the same. It doesn't change on age.
It doesn't, especially when they're introduced to something that makes them, prematurely mature in certain areas because they're still not mature mentally, but they're mature in their life experiences.
So now
and that's crazy. That's sad. Look, more American lives were lost today. I keep putting that hashtag up, American Lives Matter. More Americans died today.
Yep. Every single day. So now there's a warning for like police officers here because the gang, the Latin Kings are like, wait till they pass by and just shoot at the police cars. That's
insane. I have a troll. Welcome, troll. I'm not going to pay too much attention to you because I'm live. And look, the block button works beautifully.
Wait, I want to know who the troll is.
We love trolls.
Abdallah. He's got a big name. Absolutely, Eric. Fathers are missing in the home. But that's for another show. And I could go 2 or 3 hours talking about that. And I know y'all don't want to sit here that long listening to me. And I don't want to sit here that long talking because I'm hungry.
Of course you are. By the way, what up, Eric? one of my
But
favorite
mental illness, drug addiction, COVID, everything happening in America right now is a result of our representatives and leaders not advocating and working on our behalf. So that's why I'm actually encouraged, and I'm glad to see more average Americans running for representative positions. I'm going to keep encouraging and stressing how important this 22 election is. I know you don't want to hear me say it because you want to hear me talk about 2020. Well, that's not fixed yet. Well, if you look on PTP, you will see news drop of different states and cities taking action against Dominion voting machines. They're also making it mandatory to have an ID to vote. So if you have an ID to vote and you're an American and you can go vote in your local election, there should be nothing stopping you from going to vote. Your local election is what matters the most. Whoever you send to Washington is who's going to advocate on your behalf. So pay attention to who you're sending and make sure they understand who they represent. The American people. Like, it's that simple. 80 million plus could come together on that simple thing right there. Something as simple as going to vote and paying attention to who you're voting for in your local election.
Facts.
You can do that. It's not tough. I like my shirt too. I triggered a few people yesterday when I wore it. It was actually really funny.
What
Hold
does
on,
it
I'll show
say?
you.
0%.
It says 0% liberal.
Period.
Only women were like, giving me the snooty, stick their nose up. And the guys were like, yo, that shirt is fire. And I'm like, primetime Patriots. Let's go.
Let me guess, they were white.
Yeah. What do you guys got for closing out? Some encouragement for folks that are going through hard times. Because we all know it's a hard time for everybody.
Be an olive branch. I know that we can't save everybody, and some people don't want to be saved. I understand that. I've dealt with it firsthand. Trust me when I say this, but it doesn't mean and to be an enabler. I'm not saying that as well, but be an olive branch. Be an olive branch. You don't know what you don't know what people are going through. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Some people, give them, there's numbers that are available for people that are suicidal. There's even prayer groups for people that are Christians and are feeling something and they don't want to call the suicide hotlines. There's actually 800 prayer groups that they'll sit and they will pray with you. And they're open 24 hours a day. So my thing is listen to understand. Don't listen just to respond.
Facts.
Damn, I turned my camera off.
My thing is, when it comes to closing, like you guys are going to hear this a lot from me. Suni already talked a lot about it, but 2022 is coming. Know who you're voting for. Pay attention to who's running. Like in Texas, we already have governors announcing they're running against Greg Abbott, and you also have other people running for Senate and are announcing it in other states. I think it was Georgia. I just saw the most recent one. We're going to put out a list and we're going to make sure you guys have the information, but know who you want to support. Like, I don't really care. If you want to support a Democrat, fine. Like, that's your choice. But know who you're supporting and actually participate. Local elections and these off-cycle elections, which is this year where we don't have a presidential election, we have very low voter turnout. This is how we can change it. Let's flip the script. Let's have an outrageous voter turnout. Not Biden's outrageous voter turnout at 2 a.m., but let's actually vote and solve the problem. And that's how we can reel it back in.
Facts. So since we're talking about voting and since we're talking about how you're responsible for what you want to see around you, I'm just going to play one of the greats. And everybody knows what my favorite speech is. It's the Ballad of the Bullet, Malcolm X. And he told people what they needed to do. So get out there and do what you need to do. Be an American and use your vote.
In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republican. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.